Welcome to Boomer Between the Games. I'm your host, Boomer Esiason, and the regular season is finally here. So let's get underway. For my first guest this year, we'll be on the phone. We'll have Phil Simms. Now, he's a two-time Super Bowl champion and lead analyst for the NFL on CBS. So welcome to the show, Phil. How are you doing today, brother?
Boomer, long time no talk, but good. I'm doing well, and I really mean this. Today's Thursday. I can't wait for Sunday to get this NFL season started.
Yeah, and I know you have a big game, the Bengals and the Jets. Let's talk about 5 particular teams. Give me your 1 to 2 sentence thought process as we get ready to start the season. And let's start with the Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens, big question marks. You know, you think of the stars, Terrell Suggs, Steve Smith outside, Joe Flacco, all coming off major injuries. I like their offensive line. And my other big question, wide receiver, but also who's going to pressure the quarterback? That's a huge thing in the NFL. That's my big question mark for the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, for the Washington Redskins, Kirk Cousins on a 1-year, $19.5 million deal as the quarterback. Your assessment of them?
Well, I love their offense. I love the scheme. I like the guys he gets to throw to. Oh, they didn't have enough to begin with. They went out and drafted in the first round Josh Doxson, who finally looks like he's healthy. I don't know how much he'll play. So I like that defense. No big guy, that killer on the defensive side, but the one thing they have, I watched them a lot this preseason, they are fast. Joe Barry, defensive coordinator for them. I expect them to use that speed, be more creative this year, and make plays just because they have the speed to do it.
All right, we'll talk about the Sam Bradford trade in a little bit, but first give me your take on the Philadelphia Eagles now going with Carson Wentz, their rookie, as the starter.
I love it. You know, everybody, I'm watching everything and reading. Everybody's, I can't understand. And I go, look, you got Chase Daniels to be a backup. You didn't get him to start. And Carson Wentz, it was a short window, his first preseason game. He got roughed up. But as you and I talked already about this, I saw enough in that limited action to know that this guy can really handle the NFL. Big, strong. He is fast. And, you know, maybe at this point a little inaccurate with the football because it gets away from him every now and then. But they're not going to the Super Bowl, so they made the right move. Put Carson Wentz in there right now and get this thing going.
All right, let's turn our attention to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, no Martavius Bryant. He's out for at least 10 games, maybe the entire season. And also Le'Veon Bell is going to be suspended for 3 games. They open in Washington, but your assessment of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Well, finally they've gotten weapons around Ben Roethlisberger, and we're seeing him put up numbers that and have games that are just astounding. I still worry, can they lock down receivers on the outside? I'll tell you this, Keith Butler's their defensive coordinator. Last year was really his first year. So as the year went on, I noticed and watched their defense get better and better. And, you know, they really kind of figured out how to play. They got a star up front, and his name is Cameron Hayward. He is absolutely tremendous as a defensive lineman for what you're asked to do in Pittsburgh. We know about their linebackers, big, athletic, but still the question mark for me to the Steelers is those injuries you talked about, 2 superstars not playing, and the fact that I don't know if they can cover well enough to be a team that can just get themselves in position where they can get home field advantage for the playoffs.
All right, and finally will be the New England Patriots. Now, Tom Brady suspended, obviously, for the first 4 games. Jimmy Garoppolo, the starter. They open in Arizona. This is not an easy opener for them. Give me your assessment really in 2 parts. First, the first 4 games for the Patriots with Garoppolo, and then finally when Tom Brady comes back.
Well, when Tom Brady comes back, man, I think you said your prediction was they're going to go 12-0 once he comes back, and they might not do that. I think the Patriots, any question mark you have about them would be about the offensive line, and that's it. They can cover. They have lockdown corners. They got veteran safeties who can really play. They're loaded at linebacker. They're loaded on the defensive front. When you go out and get Chris Long, it's just like, a little insurance or whatever you want to say, and you look at all the people they have up front, and they got backups. We always talk about their offense, but their defense is loaded. And the other thing is, their offense is predicated on what? Tight ends and slot receivers. Martellus Bennett during the offseason, what a great move for them in that respect. And then Chris Hogan, who you and I heard Brandon Marshall out of nowhere say, hey, man, this guy's a beast. So they got not one or two. They got 3 slot receivers, and that's what that offense is built around, slot receivers and tight ends. And they got the best combinations in the NFL.
All right, let's take a look at a couple of these matchups in Week 1 as we talk to Phil Simms. He's the lead analyst for NFL on CBS. We'll start with Monday night's game. That's the Steelers at the Redskins. I'll be there. Things that I expect from this game, Phil, and tell me if you agree. First and foremost, the Redskins are a dynamic offense. I don't necessarily know that people realize just how good they are, and the second half of the season, how Kirk Cousins finally got comfortable with Pierre Garçon. He's got Deshaun Jackson. They have, Matt Jones as a running back. This is a fast, athletic team, and one of the reasons why I do believe that Kirk Cousins will end up getting a long-term deal from the Washington Redskins, going against the Steelers team that you said it, I think it, and I do believe it, that they're going to have trouble covering people down the field. One of the reasons why they made that trade for Gilbert from the Cleveland Browns here a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
To me, this should be a high-scoring game.
Yes, it could be. It really could. I expect that too. And they got a guy named Jordan Reed at tight end who, if you asked him, he could drop 5 pounds and be a top receiver in the NFL if he lined up outside. So they can protect Kirk Cousins. And, Kirk Cousins, towards the end of last year, became aggressive throwing the football. And when you watch him play Monday night, and, of course, you're doing the game, he just never holds back. His conviction of what he sees and what he's doing is so strong, and he's like a pitcher says, here it comes, guys, here it comes right down the middle. I'm going to throw a fastball, and you can't handle it. And that's the way he threw the football the last 6 or 7 games of the year, even in the playoff game that they lost to Green Bay. And that's what I saw this preseason, too. So I look at their offense. To carry them, I expect them to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night.
All right, the Eagles are going to host the Browns. As we talked about, they traded Sam Bradford. They're going to go with Carson Wentz. I can't think of a better opening game for a rookie than playing against Hugh Jackson and the Browns and RG3. Maybe the worst roster in all of the NFL as they're going through all of this analytic stuff. They're trading guys away. They're trying to bring in a new kind of fresh attitude there in Cleveland, and it is going to be hard work over the next 2 to 3 years to actually get this team to win games and actually become a serious playoff team. So I would think that the Eagles, with a rookie quarterback, will be a little bit stunted on offense, but I would believe that their defense should be able to control the Browns, and the Eagles should be able to get off to a great start in Doug Peterson's first game.
Well, I would think so, too. A couple things. You know that coaching staff down there. Your good friend from Maryland, Frank Reich, is down there on the offensive side. I know Doug Peterson. He's been with Andy Reid for many years in Philadelphia and in Kansas City. Andy Reid does as good a job as any coach in the NFL of having a group of new plays and situations every game than maybe anybody. Right up there with New England when you talk about it. So I know he's going to have that going for him. The other thing they have going for them, there's no real pass rushers for the Cleveland Browns when you look at it. They're not going to sit there and go, we got to double team anybody. The only thing you worry about, first game, and on the other side you have Hugh Jackson, who we know can bring it. Who knows what he'll do. Some of his formations and new plays that he has not shown, they'll come out. And then on the Ray Horton, the defensive coordinator, Boomer, listen, when in doubt, send them all. Don't cover anybody. Let's just blitz everybody and see if the rookie can handle it. It wouldn't surprise me. So game 1 scares me, and I'm sure Cleveland looks at this game and thinks this, hey, this is one we can win just because of I don't think Philadelphia's great. Rookie quarterback, first game of the year, the things that you don't know, they could sneak up right there, but I still would pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win.
All right, well, here's one of our Twitter questions. It came from Jake Brown Radio. In the long run, who will win the Sam Bradford trade, the Eagles or the Vikings? Hashtag BoomerBTG. So what do you think?
Well, I'm going to say they're both going to win. It's not a politically correct answer. I do. Hey, let's move on in Philadelphia. Let's get this thing going. And I totally agree with that, what they're doing. And in Sam Bradford, hey, if he can pick up the system quick enough in Minnesota, you know it and I know it. You keep him upright. If there's a small window, Sam Bradford doesn't miss. He is extremely accurate with the football, underrated arm. The question is, can he learn it? And, of course, the offensive line is better in Minnesota this year. It's still not, well, let's just call it NFL average. Can he sustain the hits and stay upright and stay in there long enough to really get grooved in that offense. Because I think Minnesota's got a lot of potential to be a team that could sneak up and go deep in the playoffs.
You know, I believe it. I actually believe they're a better team with Sam Bradford than they are with Teddy Bridgewater. You know who else feels that way? Our co-partner over there at Showtime, that would be Brandon Marshall, who basically said that to us. We both looked at him and said, did you just say what we thought you said? Because Sam Bradford hasn't gotten a lot of respect over the years, but you and I both know on a good team, which the Minnesota Vikings are, a playoff team, a Super Bowl team, if you will, he should have a great year. Now, if you have a question for us, just tweet us at #BoomerBTG, and maybe we'll use your tweet right here on the show. So, Phil, I appreciate you taking your time the first week here at Between the Games with me. It meant a lot for me to share this time with you. I know you got a big game. The Bengals and the Jets. Have a great call. I'll see you around the office when the games are over, and I look forward to talking to you in the next couple weeks.
You got it, Boomer. Great to be on. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us here Between the Games, and I'll be back next week with another great guest to discuss all the matchups and the games coming your way. Thanks to our partner Xfinity, and remember, Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.